You're listening to a new episode of Girl Down Podcast with your host, me, Aeon. So sit back, relax, and listen as I unpack the uncertainty of my 30s, one episode at a time. Hey, welcome to another episode of Girl Down Podcast with me, Aeon. And today, I meant to do this episode when I first launched back in November, October, but I kind of had to put it on the back burner. But the topic has slightly become relevant today. I want to talk about forgiveness, but particularly in the context of black celebrities. So the topic originated with R. Kelly like last September or October. I think that's when we got the verdict from one of his the trial in New York, and it was so many people saying, mainly the R. Kelly apologists or the R. Kelly centrists, who were like, well, we need to forgive him, and he doesn't need to go to jail, and maybe we can get to a place where he can atone for his actions, and he needs to be in an insane asylum and all of that shit. And I kind of thought about this topic again because this week in the news headlines, if you don't know, Cardi B sued YouTube blogger Tasha K for, I believe, defamation and libel. And this week, the jury awarded a verdict in Cardi B's favor. So Cardi B won her case. And as it stands right now, Tasha K owes Cardi B to the tune of almost $4 million in damages. And Tasha K went... And for those who don't know, Tasha K is a black YouTube blogger. Very like, so she does celebrity gossip news. I've watched bits and pieces of stuff that Tasha K has done. Tasha K is not particularly my cup of tea because Mama is transphobic. She's just transphobic. It is what it is, and a little bit anti-queer, and just in her delivery, and she's not somebody that I know of her, but I follow her. But now you have people saying, well, hopefully now you have people saying, well, hopefully she can create a path towards redemption and all of this other stuff. But Mama released a video after her verdict. So one of the crazy things about that trial is that Tasha took the stand in her own defense, and she basically admitted to spreading lies about Cardi B having herpes. She admitted to it on the stand, and that's kind of the nail in the coffin why she lost her case and why she's on the hook for all this money. But in her apology or her video explaining the verdict or whatever, not once did Mama apologize. Not once did Mama take accountability for what she did. And people were still trying to offer, well, we need to forgive her, and we need to create space for her to atone for her actions. And that's kind of what made me think about the topic of forgiveness, particularly with these celebrities. How I feel about it is, I feel like we culturally as black people are a little bit too quick to offer people forgiveness, particularly in this time. Like the effects of like Trumpism and all of that is that now people, even black people, feel comfortable to do all of this crazy, ridiculous stuff and double down on it, not apologize. And because they are black and cis het, we are just supposed to automatically just have this space to forgive them and go easy on them. And why at the same time, these people are not and even going back to the R. Kelly, and this is not to compare R. Kelly to Tasha K and the things that they did or the things that they had been alleged to do, but even R. Kelly, after he got the verdict and after the verdict was handed down in his criminal case, he not at once apologized to any of the women that he's wrong. He doubled down, and or at least the statement from his representatives doubled down to make it seem like that he was wronged, and it's a miscarriage of justice, and it's a violation of his constitutional rights, and it's just it's a very scary time to be living in, because now with social media and just fame in and of itself, but just the way that you can become famous for being controversial, or you could just be praised for doing the wrong thing and not be held accountable. For me, I'm just very cautious of who I'm offering up forgiveness for. And when somebody, even after they've done something wrong, if they're coming back and doubling down, when the evidence clearly shows that you were in the wrong, if they're coming back and doubling down, they have no empathy for the people that they've caused harm to. They have no intentions on atoning for their actions. Then for me, in my household, that's just not somebody I'm going to create space to offer forgiveness to, because especially with black celebrities and black figures, like, of all people, you would think we would want to be very laser like in making sure that we're not creating harm within our own community, to our own people. And I just think that black folks, we're just so conditioned to just be so loving and just open our arms and just accept the worst treatment, but still have to create the most space for love and empathy when people can literally harm us, make up lies about us, and profit off of it, and profit off of our pain, suffering, and abuse, and not have to take accountability for anything. And then we're just supposed to forgive them. I just think the path towards redemption has to be in the person that committed the wrong, that did the wrong. So R. Kelly is pure trash. I don't think he is worthy of redemption. I don't think we need to put his ass in no damn insane asylum. He knows exactly what he's been doing for exactly how long he's been doing it. And his current situation now and the consequences, he's earned them. He's earned them. He does not need to be placed in no insane asylum. Excuse me. As far as for Tasha K, Mama is planning on, and I have to go back and check my facts to see. Let me see now. Tasha K lawsuit. Was it in federal court? Oh, this is a federal suit. Oh, so Tasha. Okay, so I'm assuming that Cardi B probably brought this federal lawsuit in the federal district for the Northern District of Georgia, where Atlanta is located. They're probably going to appeal this to the 11th Circuit. I don't know. Anything can happen nowadays. This is the end of the world. Anything can happen. In my personal opinion, I don't think Tasha K has the case, unless she could speak to something procedurally that was done wrong. But one of the elements for libel is the person has to know that the lie that they stated was in fact a lie. And Mama saying that in her trial testimony, that kind of like killed any defenses that she could have, because a defense to libel is that something that what you said was the truth, and so she admitted that it was in fact a lie. I just don't know, unless Tasha could point to something procedurally that happened in the trial, maybe a jury instruction or something. I don't see this. I don't. If she appeals this to the 11th Circuit, I don't see this. And the 11th Circuit is a pretty conservative circuit. I don't know. And then the Supreme Court, it's just like, and even above appealing, like all of the money that you have to like bringing a lawsuit is expensive. Going through the discovery process of a lawsuit is expensive. Taking it to trial is expensive. And then appealing it to the appellate court is expensive. And then appealing it again to the Supreme Court. Like, this is expensive. And unless Miss Tasha K is getting sponsored by hair companies and crawfish restaurants and all of that, like, I know you have money, but I don't think you have money like that to be playing. Unless you're backed by a corporation or you have some silent funders. I think a smart person would just take the L and just take the L, pay the, and I don't even think Cardi wants the money. I think Cardi just wants the apology, but like this lady's ego, and even when she got through the middle of her court process, which me just speaking as a lawyer, if I had a client, what I would strongly suggest that they not get on the internet and talk about the inner workings of the case, especially during the mediation phase. If somebody is telling you to go to mediation, especially a judge is strongly suggesting you go to mediation, particularly for the defendant, and settle. If a judge is encouraging you to settle to the defendant, that means somebody is going to lose at trial. And the fact that she was just so arrogant, and wanted to take this to trial, it just shows the level of delusion and just the level of this person is not, they feel that they're not in the wrong. They feel that they are not guilty. They have no intentions of atoning or just making smart choices. So should we really be creating space to have forgiveness for people that are intentionally doing this harm? Like, are we supposed to open our hearts to them? But that's all I have to say about forgiveness. I'm trying to be, in my older years, I'm just trying to be a little bit more discerning and really looking at people's actions, not just after, of course their actions after they do something, but their actions leading up to them doing these things, because that really shows their heart, that shows their intent. And the fact that folks who have documented histories of being harmful to people just can't even simply apologize. I'm just going to be very careful of who I'm creating space for forgiveness for. That's how I feel about this topic. How do you feel about this topic? Be sure to let me know. Email me, girldownpodcast@gmail.com. Also, make sure you're rating the podcast on Apple Podcasts and Spotify 5 stars and leaving a review. And I will talk to you all next time. Bye. Thank you for listening to another episode of Girl Down Podcast with me, Aeon. If you like the show, please be sure to go on over to Apple Podcasts and rate and review this podcast. Also, make sure that you're engaging with me on social media. Also, if you have any inquiries or you want to send me any questions, be sure to email me at girldownpodcast@gmail.com. Until next time, bye y'all.